Hello, welcome to Simon Miller's Pro Wrestling Show. Not even in the shot. What a crazy day! What a crazy day in the world. I can't think of the proper word. It's probably because everyone's freaking me out. The media's gone crazy, and all you're doing is like refreshing on news sites over and over because it's just so nuts. But welcome, thank you to everybody joining me live. And remember, you can get this on podcast too. The new way we do this. I'm going to leave this one up. I'm going to leave this one up because, don't forget, we're not going to move. We're going to divide the streams up from here onto Twitch. So if you haven't signed up to twitch.tv/Simon316, please go and do that. And if nothing else, give me a like on this video. Why did I have to think about that so long? Give me a like. Hit the subscribe button. If you've never hit the subscribe button before, massively do that. Hit the like button because YouTube likes. And then maybe we can keep streaming on YouTube as well, but we won't go down that rabbit hole. And please do give me a follow on Simon316 and Instagram, on Twitter. And again, you can become a patron, patreon.com/Simon316. And also, if you want to talk to me, we'll answer some comments as well, but if there's something you definitely want to get read out or you want to change the conversation or you have a podcast point, please do use the super chat and we will have a little bit of a conversation. Now, we are going to talk about AEW, we're going to talk about wrestling, we're going to talk about the coronavirus, we're going to talk about all of that stuff because we have to. I kind of ummed and ahed about whether to make this video, and then I realized, no, the reason I want to do it is because I want to have a platform to say thank you. Because everything that's happening right now, be it this podcast, my What Culture stuff, or the AEW thing that we'll talk about in 3 seconds, is because of people like you, people that watch, people that support, people that send me nice words on social media, who keep me motivated and keep me inspired. Because that everyone has ups and downs, but it's true. And I am a human being and I have those as well. So when I'm having a down day and somebody sends me a nice message on Twitter or on here or shows me incredible support, it lights a fire under my ass and it keeps me going. And that's why I thought I want to make this video. And look, I understand I'm being a massive wrestling nerd. I understand I'm being a massive wrestling mark. And some people are going to roll their eyes and be like, Miller, you're such a loser. And that's absolutely fine. But yes, last night for around about 2.5-3 seconds, when Sean Spears was doing his hashtag search for Spears montage of videos that have been sent, and fair play to everybody that was on there and everybody that keeps shooting their shot. The second one on there for around about 3 seconds, it was mine. And it was just the coolest and the most surreal thing that has happened to me for some time. And again, the only reason that happens is because of people like you or guys like you, everything I've just talked about. You went nuts on Twitter especially, which helped me no end. And it was awesome. Let's not pretend otherwise. Like, I'm not going to lie. I always say this. But when I was 13 years old, if you had told me that, Simon, when you're in your adult job, you're going to be able to get to review Raw, you're going to get to review SmackDown, you get to do videos about wrestling, you're going to be able to go around on YouTube and do stuff like this, I would have done a backflip. I wouldn't have believed you. I would have been like, well, that doesn't make any sense. That's absolutely crazy. And I feel beyond appreciative and humbled by the fact that we've got here. And, I do work hard, but as I always say, working hard is step one. It doesn't mean that you deserve anything more than anyone else or that you're definitely going to achieve something. But to kind of take that one step further and actually, the only other time I've been on a wrestling show proper is when The Rock came to Virgin Megastore. Don't even exist anymore. The Rock came to Virgin Megastore years and years and years ago. And I went down, I was like 14, I was young, I was like 13, whatever. And I went down to meet him and they showed a clip of the line and I got on there. And there's a couple of times when I went to the shows in England, I'm in the front row. You could see me there. We've talked about that before. I had really long hair. But to actually have... Again, I know it's a tiny little thing, and I know I'm going over the top, and it's fine, but it just put a massive smile on my face. I loved it, and I wanted to say thank you, because I can only imagine one of the reasons they decided to choose it is because of the reaction that you guys had to it on that social media. So I get it, but the way I look at the world as well, though, is when these little things happen, that you should smile and you should appreciate them, and you should. No matter how big or small other people think they are, if it made you feel good and it put a smile on your face and it gave you a couple of thumbs up for the day, just embrace it and ride it off into the distance. So that is what we are doing today. And that's why I want to look down his camera lens and just say, thank you very much, because it is all you. I mean, yeah, I got to put myself in the position to begin with, but I'm nothing without an audience and without an engagement. And I'm lucky enough to have somewhat of a a platform to be able to do this. So matches I do on Ups and Downs. Again, Ups and Downs goes live in 55 minutes over on What Culture Wrestling. Make sure you check it out. I give you a bow and just say thanks. And it was really surreal. And it was really cool. Who cares, man? Millie, you're such a mark. Of course I'm a mark. Look at me. I make a wrestling podcast. I make wrestling videos. And then I became a wrestler. I started lifting weights because I thought wrestlers look cool. Of course I am a wrestling mark. There's no two ways about it. And I'm damn proud. And we will see where all of this goes. But yeah, I just wanted to make a video and say thank you and say that I enjoyed it massively, because of course I did. Who wouldn't, right? That's like a mini little dream. That's like a little dream. And also, actually I should say this as well, thank you to Sean Spears, thank you to Cody Rhodes, thank you to AEW, thank you to Tony Khan, thank you to whoever who saw that and thought we'll put Miller's one up there. That was awesome. It was rocked. I can smile all day now. There's nothing wrong with that. Let's do some of the super chats. Shout out to non-WWE Guy who says, are you hoarding soap and toilet paper because of coronavirus? And number 2, the odds that WrestleMania gets cancelled, moved, or postponed. No, I'm not doing any of that hoarding stuff because it's too much for me. I understand why people do it, but I think it's quite a selfish thing to do. Not in a bad way, but if you hoard everything, then somebody else can't hoard everything. And I think when we have our backs to the wall, we should share the wealth, right? We should share what we have. So no, I'm not doing that. I'm buying what I need. Actually, I had loads of hand sanitizer because Amazon were doing a deal on it about a year ago, and I just bought it. Because sometimes I'm like, it's nice to have, so I've got loads. Who knew? Odds that Mania gets cancelled, move, or postponed. Well, look, right now in England, it looks like the Premier League's going to be cancelled, suspended. It looks like the Europa League, the Champions League, the F1 Grand Prix. And I don't mean this disparagingly to WrestleMania. WrestleMania in my world is the biggest thing ever. But in terms of global events, they are bigger than WrestleMania. So I don't see how they are able to go ahead and WrestleMania not able to go ahead, and WrestleMania is. So I think it probably will do. All the rumors now seem to suggest that it will start, that they'll try and move it to the summer. So you're going to get some kind of WrestleMania, SummerSlammer-mania, something like that. But look, it does suck and it would be awful. And I'm meant to be there, obviously. I'm meant to be going across. But ultimately, health and safety is the most important thing. I know everybody says that, but it's true. I don't want anybody to die, and people have died. So that's nothing's more important than that. Nothing is more important than making sure people don't die. So as much as it would suck that we don't get to see WrestleMania, again, I don't want people to die. So I'm just scrolling through to make sure I don't miss super chats. Kieran Trafford in the super chat says, do you think you would want to play a heel? My man Kieran, I ask everybody to book me as a heel, but as of yet, nobody has done it, which is a shame. But it will come. I'm still brand new at this. I'm sure somebody will give me my opportunity. The way I look at it is I want to be face, I want to be heel, I want to be a tag team guy, I want to be a multi-man guy, I want to be a manager if that's what I want to be a promo dude. Because I want to make sure I have everything under my belt in case a cool opportunity comes up and I can jump on that, right? I think that's important. So yes, and I have a heel character in mind. Just need the trigger. Crappy Posts, amazing name in the super chat, says, hi from Italy. Everything's closed here. And thanks, Simon. Yeah, I bet it is. Italy was the first kind of country to close everything down. Sending my thoughts to you, my friend. I hope you're all right. I will try and entertain you from across the pond. I mean, that's the good thing about these things. We can use YouTube and the internet to try and make things better. Shout out to Jacob Donnelly in the super chat. He said, despite the crazy news in the world, I marked out seeing you on AEW. Big congrats. A lot of people have sent me messages saying that. So, Jacob, thank you to you. And thank you to everybody else. I don't want to sound like a cheesy asshole, but I am going to sound like a cheesy asshole. You have no idea. When I wake up and I have all these social media responses and engagement as the official word, you have no idea. It's the best. It's the best, as Ortiz would say. I love it because it does. It lights a fire under me. So thank you so much. Damn Lemley in the super chat says, I met Spears before. He's nice. I hope he picks you. He is a nice guy. We met him at the Bullet Club block party. He stumbled in there. I think it was just WrestleMania season for a few minutes, and he was a lovely chap, a really, really nice chap. And we'll see where it goes. You never know, but again, it's the small things in life I think that matter. And whatever the future holds, I'll always have that little Simon. You're on AEW for all of 32 milliseconds. My man Alexander Falkenstein in the super chat says, here is massive support. Let's go, Simon. I believe you can do everything, no matter how big your dreams are. We've always got your back. Well, that's lovely as well. You see, it's those kinds of things that are awesome. They just are. I am going to be that guy. But I do go out. I am a bit of a dream chaser, as they say. Well, let me rephrase that. If I'm passionate about something, I just go and do it. And I throw myself into it. I just keep everything crossed that it works out. But it's so much easier and so much more fun to be able to do it with support and with people like my man Alex there saying really nice things. So... I just want to... I'll probably reiterate that a lot as we go. My man Leonard in the super chat says, you are giving that segment a golden upright. I've taken a very Simon Miller tact with it. And you can see it in around about 51 minutes to be specific over on What Culture Ups and Downs for AEW Dynamite. But you'll see. That's all I say. You see. I think we did the right thing. Shout out to everyone that went, oh, you're going to be biased now. You thought I was biased anyway. So what difference does it make? And also, you can't make up your mind. Sometimes I'm biased towards AEW. Sometimes I'm biased towards WWE. It's crazy. Shout out to Matthew McFadden in the super chat. Says, if your gimmick isn't you just made the list, but you give people a brown down instead, we'll all be disappointed. My man, Matthew. If I ever get the opportunity to do that on a bigger scale and somebody green lights it, I'm going to up and down everybody. Absolutely. Don't you worry about that, Matt. And I give you a little wink and a nudge at the same time. My man Matt Borton in the super chat says, Simon, YouTube doesn't like curse words. No, it does not. Hence why I say shib, flub, and Mother Hubbard. That's a way to get around it. So from this day forward, call yourself Brazilian instead of bald a-hole. We love you, Miller. Thanks. It has got a bit annoyed at asshole recently, but I am the bald asshole, so I'm never going to stop saying that. That's too important to me. It's too important to me. I am the bald asshole, and I always will be. M Brown 1117 in super chat says, you seem so happy about it. I'm happy for you. Congratulations on that, man. Well, I am. And again, people say, oh, you're being so silly. It's not that big a deal. No, it's not that big a deal, but it's still look, hands up if you wouldn't have enjoyed that, right? Look, my hand comes down. I just enjoyed it, but I'm also well aware it only happened because I have people like you shouting and saying my name on Twitter and stuff like that. That stuff is a big deal in 2020. It just is. And that's the main reason I wanted to make this video. We always do a stream on Thursdays anyway, but I thought, well, if I do this, I can actually look down a camera lens specifically and say thank you. That was the main reason I wanted to do it. So yes, that is the thing. I think that's everybody's super chats for now. If I've missed you, just drop me a line and I'll make sure I get to it. Oh, no, wait, Celisto is there, who says Simon Miller confirmed AEW shill. Again, everybody thought that anyway, so what difference does it make? I'll let you in on a little secret, as I just check here. No, we're all good. I will let you in on a little secret, right? Ready for this? Everyone calms down. I'm not paid by WWE. I'm not paid by AEW. I am paid by What Culture Wrestling to make those videos. And every up and down I give is because I think something is good or I think something is bad. Shocking, right? Shocking. Okay, the secret is out. Everybody, there's no point not being honest. There's no point not being transparent. As soon as you give up honesty, people they'll see right through it. They will see right through it. Now, if I was doing what is effectively a review show and not being honest with my opinions, you would see it a mile coming. You just would. And you would know. I don't mind people thinking that. It doesn't bother me. It's like I don't think it's a big deal. But yes, there's the truth. The cat's out the bag. Isaac Brown in the super chat says, I know for sure if that happened for me, I would have flipped out. So I'm happy for you. That's the other thing as well. It's the spontaneity and the surprise of the whole thing. I didn't expect to see my face on AEW Dynamite when I sat down to review it last night or this morning. I was like, what's that? Oh, that's me. And you always get the cats coming out the bag, but it's fine. As for AEW Dynamite itself, again, I thought it was another good show. Really, really easy to watch. Maybe not as bombastic or as what's the word I'm looking for? Because it was really, really good. But I mean, some have been, you kind of finish. You're like, oh, wow, that was pure fire. Maybe a little less down on the fire scale than usual, but still again, it's just such an easy to watch show. And what we've started doing now, especially over the last few weeks, is threading these storylines together. And that's what I love. So Hangman Page and the Jacksons will also be involved with Cody, who's involved with MJF, who's now also involved with somebody else. And then you've got Lance Archer and Jake Roberts. It's cool. It makes the show feel important from start to finish and that you should watch because your favorite character may actually be involved in a segment that you weren't expecting. Shout out to Daniel Pan, the super chat. It says, Simon Miller equals golden up. Hope all is well. Great to catch a live stream. Well, it's great to have you, my friend. And Jamie Kennedy wants to know if I'm going to bring a covered cage to the ring. No, the less said about that, the better. I'm just keeping that calm, and then we can move on. But yeah, so I thought, the coolest thing to me was the Hangman Page stuff. I think Hangman Page right now has absolutely found his feet. I think he's one of the best success stories of AEW Dynamite so far. And, we start off with this idea of who's going to be the mystery tag team partner. Then Nick Jackson gets taken out pretty brutally, too, if I do say so myself. You've got this kind of feud between Matt Jackson and Hangman Page. Then Dustin inserts himself. What does Hangman think about that? But ultimately, he wins. That's the cool thing about Hangman Page. He is a little bit Stone Cold Steve Austin in that he doesn't pander to the fans. He has his own gimmick and his own persona. He doesn't really have any friends, but also he backs it up and he wins. Like, he wins. That's the real key here. He always wins. He was successful for getting those titles. He's successful that they still have those titles. And even when he's thrown in the ringer with a random person he's never teamed with before, it's he who gets the last shot, literally. And I like that a lot. I think it allows you to get behind him and support him a bit more and believe in this idea of Hangman Page. So he's absolutely on fire right now. Opening match was cool too. Cody versus Ortiz. Again, and I like that Jake Roberts just comes out with Lance Archer. So we didn't overdo it. We didn't... Because I think because you got the big Dark Order reveal potentially next week, or that's the tease. I think it makes much more sense for this one to be a little bit more low key because you don't want to overshoot essentially. And having Lance Archer just come out with Jake Roberts and the commentators put him over really hard. This guy's a star. This guy's going to kick your ass. He's a thoroughbred. If you know, you know. And if you don't know, you understand to keep an eye on him. And that's why I think putting him with Jake Roberts is actually a really smart idea. So, I thought that was that was well done. That was well done too. And the fact that Cody's then back out there later in the main event, so we're building this Inner Circle versus the Elite in, I almost called it War Games, in Blood and Guts. And we had the rules for that too. I mean, can I remember them? 2 men start, brand new person every 2 minutes, 10 people in the cage, and that's when it officially gets going, and you can only win by surrender or submission, and it's going to be in a roofed cage. It's War Games, but that's fine. War Games was made by Dusty Rhodes. I think All Elite Wrestling should be allowed to do it. At this stage, I just want to say, if you are brand new to the channel or brand new to the stream, please smash the subscribe button right now. I'd massively appreciate it and give the video a like. Also, shout out to pinsandknuckles.com and pinsandknucklesmerch.com for supporting Simon Miller's Pro Wrestling Show. And again, smash with the super chat if you want to support that way too. It would rock. As Lewis Cardona has done, hand on the heart, as all super chats get. Hey Simon, finally caught a stream. College is too stressful. If you saw NXT, I'd love to see Velveteen Dream becoming champ. Also, keep being awesome, my friend. Thanks, Lewis. I don't really watch NXT until Fridays, just because of my Thursdays being AEW focused with ups and downs, and when it gets put on the network and so on and so forth. I actually don't know anything about NXT as of yet. Somehow I've managed to avoid all spoilers, which is very, very nice. I know it was in the PC and there was some kind of fight throughout the Performance Center that people enjoyed. I haven't heard anything negative about it, though. I hope it's a good show. I like NXT. Again, let you inside the secrets. AEW, great. NXT, great. Raw, great. SmackDown, great. Robert Jackson, the Super Chat says, if you end up in AEW, you might have to be a bald butthole since Sean Spears is a heel. Well, I appreciate your faith in me, my friend. Again, who knows? Who knows what the future holds? And as Chris Rogers says, what would your storyline be with Spears? I don't know. I would presume he just kicks the crap out of me, and that would be my bit. That's what would happen. The bald asshole gets his ass handed to him. See, it's got a nice ring to it. Jacob Donnelly, Super Chat says, Lance Archer's debut I thought was really well done. It felt different, and all these interjecting storylines is very Attitude Era influence. Yeah, it's a bit like Vince Russo. Again, everyone's got a comment about Vince Russo, but the one thing he ensured that we had was stories for all the wrestlers and interconnecting storylines at that occasionally when we need it. So, that's why I liked it. It was understated. And sometimes that kind of ties into his character. It's a bit of an understated character. He's just going to whoop your ass. So, yeah, I massively agree with that. I now can't think of anything else that happened on the show. So I'm going to get my phone out and double check that I don't miss anything. I like that Cody won with the figure 4. It's different. I don't think you always have to use your finisher to win. Small things like that are good. The B. Priestley, Nyla Rose, Chris Statlander, Shida match. I thought it was a good match. I enjoyed it. And I think all those 4 women have massive potential going forward. But it was another AEW match just comes out of nowhere. And you're like, what is going on? With that said, I do believe we are at somewhat of a turning point for the women's division. Because when it was done, we have a solid feud between B. Priestley and Nyla Rose. No problem with that. And the Britt Baker Big Swole thing took a step forward as well. So if we now start focusing on that and let everybody else kind of fight out for the number 1 contenderships or the rankings, I think that will help massively. I would say that was the one blip on the show, to have a random tag match like that, and your counterpoint would probably be, but there was loads of random tag matches. Yes, but they all had storyline worked into it based on things that had happened before. It's not even a bad thing because I enjoyed the match. I thought it filled the time really well. But I would just like to see more of this storytelling going into the women's division. I just think it would benefit. But yeah, it was good. It was good. There was absolutely nothing wrong with it whatsoever. I like the Christopher Daniels thing, taking the mick out of the Dark Order, teasing that maybe we don't have an Exalted one. We definitely do. It's either going to be Matt Hardy or Luke Harper or Brody Lee as he's known now. These are my two guesses. Don't know if I'm right, don't know if I'm wrong. It's pure speculation on my end. MJF, the Butcher and the Blade versus Jurassic Express was ridiculous. That is so much fun. And now there are so many people. I think this is kind of what this episode of Dynamite was doing. It was establishing these three-man teams, like MGF, Butcher and Blade, Jurassic Express, obviously SCU. There was another one that I'm now forgetting. Oh, the Best Friends, the Death Triangle. All these guys. I think they're going to introduce six-man titles. Six-man tag titles, whatever they call them. And I'm well up for that because that's one of the cool things that I enjoyed about New Japan when I started watching years back. I was like, oh, what an interesting concept. It feels new. And well, obviously, it's not going to feel new in AEW. It's not really something you get in a Western promotion. So I'd be up for that. And this match was just so much fun. It was just excellent. I loved everybody. I loved everybody involved, genuinely. Right, where are we going? Let me do some of these super chats. I don't want anyone to feel like I'm not talking to them. CM Origins in the super chat says, who is Adam Page's least favorite wrestler? John Cena, because of his association with the AA. You get a round of applause for that, CM Origins. That's a good little joke. I'll probably steal it. Not gonna lie. And you'll be like, Mother Hubbard, he stole my stuff. I won't steal it. And if I did, I would give you credit. I would never do that. Where am I going? Wimplo86 in the super chat says, you are an influence to me. I'm an HR trainer, and during a class when I said why, I instinctively slapped my head and said, here's why. Got some laughs from that. Thank you and congrats, Simon. Well, I love that, Wimplo. That made my day. And also goes to show, right? See, slapping your head, people find it funny. Why they find it funny, I don't know. But that's how the whole thing started. So good for you, my friend. I give you all the power in the world to use the power of the why, if that is even a thing. You are allowed to use it as much as you want. So yeah, I love that six-man. Obviously, MJF gets the win. Darby Allin dragging around a dummy Sammy Guevara was interesting. I mean, between that and I should have talked about the Nick Jackson thing more when the Inner Circle beat him up after the Cody match. That was proper. That guy was dead. It looked like when you try and kill a zombie in a zombie apocalypse and you see a great and you smash his head, he wasn't moving. That guy was dead. And then here again, Darby Allin's dragging around a dummy version of Sammy Guevara in a body bag and kind of takes it towards a truck. Like he's going to drive it off and murder it. There's a lot of murder on AEW Dynamite last night. Not against it. Hey, if you want me to believe that you're going to whip somebody's ass, murder's probably a good way to do it. But I do like it, though. Darby Allin feels like a star. Sammy Guevara feels like a star. They are awesome. Britt Baker is just my favorite person in the world right now when it comes to wrestling. I think her character is hilarious. Saying that people in, I can't remember where they were now, Salt Lake, was it? I can't remember. But that their dreams are to become a dental assistant. Awesome. Again, I like the idea of the Big Swole Britt Baker feud. Didn't mind the inside baseball references. I think to that kind of crowd, when they, when they're going to get it, it's fine. I think the only time you lose your audience is when people don't get it. And again, the argument could be, well, what about the casual crowd who may be tuning in? Well, it was just one reference, right? I think it was fine. So I liked it, and I want to see I just want to see where this Britt Baker character goes. I loved it when she hid behind Tony Schiavone too. Like just ragging on him for all these weeks, and then she wants to protect him, and she got behind him. I tell you, she gets a special award on this week's Ups and Downs. Again, 37 minutes over on What Culture. Make sure you check them out. I gave her a special award. I enjoyed it too much. Death Triangle are preposterous. Phoenix, Pentagon, and Pac. They're flipping badass. They got a great look together. That triple submission they did at the end, a literal Death Triangle. Oh, man. Same with Joey Janela, I love, and Private Party. They're a great addition. But that six-man tag was just phenomenal. It was just phenomenal. The athleticism, the agility, the moves, the maneuvers, the way they string everything together. I don't see how you can't not enjoy it. I really, really don't. It was fire. And the John Moxley stuff was all right too. I saw some people saying they weren't massively into it. It was an oddly cut interview. I thought it was a bit like JR finished his question and they cut it where John Moxley was right on him. I don't know whether they did that because they knew they had to fit it into a tight 2-hour broadcast. But I wouldn't say, I like the fact he wasn't on the show. I think that makes him feel more like a star. He's obviously at home recovering, which sells that injury as well. But yeah, not the best thing I've seen John Moxley do, but it was fine. Like he did a decent job of making sure that he had some kind of appearance on the show without, dragging it into the ground. Matthew David Hughes in the super chat says, not wrestling, but could you please say happy birthday to my son Oliver? He is 3. He always gets hyped for your videos and has almost perfected his head slapping. Of course. Happy birthday to Oliver. Have a great 3rd birthday. Keep slapping your head. And when you get to 30, you can then have it down. You've already got it down, it sounds like, but you can have it doubly down. And then I'll be an old man by then. But if we bump into each other, we can just slap each other's head. Quite enjoy saying happy birthday. I'm sure there's the equivalent in America, but over here we used to have something called Live and Kicking, where Philip Schofield used to do that, and Andy Peters. They used to read out cards and say happy birthday. Now I get to do that to Matthew David Hughes and his son Oliver. No problem with that whatsoever. Main event 2 I liked a lot. Again, Dustin Rhodes just makes himself Hangman Page's partner. It cracked me up. I'm your partner. Why do I want you to be? I don't give a crap. So it was awesome. Good match. Again, I've already established how much I enjoy Hangman. Love the bit with Page and Matt Jackson at the end. I'm going to steal a line from Ups and Downs. I don't like spoiling them too much, but it's the best analogy to me. This like Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker stuff. Like Matt Jackson knows there's still some good in Hangman Adam Page, but he hates him so much he still flips him off. And like a horror movie, you don't do that stuff. When you drop the ball in a horror movie or you're promiscuous, you'll get killed. And because Matt Jackson took his eye off the ball for 1 second, Chris Jericho wound him with a chair shot. Hangman Page got attacked too. And the cool thing about all that is the Inner Circle standing tall at the end, which is promised what they were going to do 7 days ago. So they backed up their promise, and they're almost more aggressive and violent than they were when Jericho was champion. Maybe they got a bit, nonchalant or complacent, but not anymore. Not anymore. So, yeah, it was... It's just really, again, not the best episode of Dynamite I've ever seen, but that's way too negative. Well, in many ways it was, but that's a way too negative spin. It was just a decent TV show to link everything from Revolution to Blood and Guts. And I can't wait to see what they're going to do at Blood and Guts. They're going to have this crazy, intense, violent match, just free, or whatever you want to call it, on their weekly show. I'm all about that. This is why I like the 4 pay-per-view. I don't expect WWE to change, and nor should they. But one of the benefits, I think, of having the 4 pay-per-views across the year is that you can have these special TV events that do feel a little bit magic. And I enjoy that. I enjoy that massively. I think when you've got 52 weeks of programming a year, you need to come up with odds and sods to change things up. And I totally think that's what we've done. Another quick shout out just to say, if you are on YouTube right now, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. All those things are good for engagement and just making sure my YouTube channel continues to grow. And of course, in around about 30 minutes, head over to What Culture Wrestling, where we're up those downs for AEW Dynamite. And you can buy Simon Miller merchandise as well. I never talk about that. SimonMiller.BigCartel.com. Bunch of t-shirts. New ones going up there soon as I can pay for for the things that I've ordered, which I will do very soon. Right, moving on to news. Yes, the big rumor right now is that SmackDown on Friday is going to get moved away from whenever the hell it's supposed to be. I don't know what state it's meant to be in. This is a state-governed rule. This is nothing to do with WWE. They're at the mercy of what they're being told by officials. There's a big rumor that SmackDown may come from the Performance Center. This obviously ties into the coronavirus, which is everywhere right now. So, I don't know what's going to happen. I think the major thing with it is that, I don't want to repeat myself, but I shall. People have died from this. And people go, oh, well, they're old people. So, what a terrible thing to say. They still have the right to being alive, jackass. So, I think that's always got to come front and center. Of course, it's going to suck if it gets in the things that you enjoy and it gets in the way of your entertainment, because that's what it's there for. It's there to distract you, and that's kind of why we shouldn't be talking about it now, but unfortunately it does tie into wrestling. So yeah, SmackDown may be moved, and then Raw could get moved too, depending on the state they're going to be in. And this all builds up to WrestleMania, which is going to be live on 2-3 weeks on Sunday. I mean, you don't know what's going to happen. I know that Tampa officials are meeting today to have that discussion about what they should do. But what do you do? Like, Donald Trump today has put travel bans in place for most of Europe, not the UK. So, I'd still be able to go at the moment. But that could change if it gets worse over here. And what if you do live in Germany, Italy, Spain, France, Luxembourg, whatever? If you want to go to WrestleMania, you've now basically been told you can't. And how does WWE deal with that? That's the issue, is that... and I get people keep saying, oh, but this kills more people and that kills more people. Yeah, but it's not spreading as fast as this. The whole point of isolation isn't to massively stop, it is to stop people dying, but more importantly is to try and kill the thing off before, because it spreads to everyone. It's never going to go anywhere, right? That's the issue. It's not about the mortality rate. massive. It's still a concern, but it's about killing it before it's able to get anywhere. And the best way at the moment is to just lock yourself in your house, because that way it can't spread. That seems to be going over some people's heads. But we will see what happens. Right now, everything is still on as planned. Everyone says, oh, should you do it in front of no crowd? What is wrestling without the crowd? I would say that 70% of wrestling is the crowd. Look at Hulk Hogan versus The Rock from WrestleMania 18. If you watch that match with no sound, it's not bad, but it's nothing. You watch it with the sound, it's one of the best matches you've ever seen. I don't see the point of doing any wrestling event without a crowd, unless you're doing an empty arena match, but that's something utterly different. So I think you just have to postpone it. And I guess it's different when it's actual sport. I hate saying that, but you know what I mean, because there are calendars to fit things in. But WWE runs to their own calendar. Like, let's say they do WrestleMania 36 in the summer and it negates SummerSlam. Does it really? Do you know what? Does it really make a big difference? It sucks from a fan point of view if you've put money into it. That's the real thing. But in terms of a storyline point of view, you can make it work. You can make it work. Like, you control it all. You decide what's what, who does this, who does that. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. We don't know at the moment. It's all speculation. And as I've already talked about, the media is obviously going to turn this into a massive story, which is going to get more people hyped up and worried. And then that, almost like the virus itself, spreads. We just don't know. All we can do is do what we're told and go from there. But that is the rumor. The rumor is that SmackDown may go to an empty arena, which would be the PC, I should say. And look, I thought the WWE did an excellent job of making NXT look like Full Sail last night. I thought they did a brilliant job with that. So more power to them. Obviously, it'd be different with SmackDown, because SmackDown's been doing decent attendances recently, sort of 8,000 plus or so. When you take that down to 200, 300, I don't know how many you can put in the Performance Center. It's going to be weird, but maybe it would be cool too, right? Look on the bright side of life. Look at the positive. When we had the NXT invasion after the Saudi Arabia debacle, that was really interesting. So maybe this one will be cool too, like my word. The only thing I don't want is it's 316 day on Monday. Stone Cold Steve Austin is going to be on Raw. I don't want Stone Cold Steve Austin coming out in front of 200 people. The main reason you want to see Stone Cold Steve Austin is because of that pop. The Stone Cold Steve Austin pop is life-affirming to me. I watch it with my eyes closed, like, man, it's so loud. And he always gets one, so don't do that. No, I don't want. Just delay him. Push him back. Push him back to somewhere else. Imagine The Undertaker doing his entrance in the Performance Center. At least it wouldn't last 20 minutes. He'd be at the ring in about 2, which is like a normal entrance for anybody else. That would be funny. Or Brock Lesnar down there. We are living in absolutely crazy times. If they do maybe to the WrestleMania to the summer, maybe they do some big super summer amazing show, and they combine everything together. Who knows? Raw rating was bad. Yes, we talked about this. Not bad, but it was just. I mean, it's because it's WrestleMania season and everybody. So I'm making sure I haven't missed any. Excuse me, any news as we talk, but. Yeah, like it's just. I think the worry is. I mean, in terms of holding the audience is doing well, but the total audience is down, and the reason why that is difficult is because we are in WrestleMania season, which is meant to be the peak point. So clearly something isn't resonating with the audience as much as other people thought it would be. But I try not to worry about the ratings. Like, as long as I enjoy the show, what matters. And everyone goes, oh, it's Drew McIntyre's fault. It's Seth Rollins' fault. It's Roman Reigns' fault. And I don't think it's anybody's fault. I think it's just a combination of things and not really being able to grab the audience with some compelling stuff. I think a lot of what we see is kind of designed for the people that are already watching. And I do think in hindsight, having Edge as a surprise would have been better. You are playing the long game with that. But advertising Edge, when people already know they can watch it on Twitter or Facebook or YouTube, they knew that clip was going to be upline, 5 minutes of it happening. But I think when you have a surprise Edge return, what it teaches the audience is, hey, you got to keep watching because you never know what's going to happen. This is nothing new. This is a hot take that everybody has. And I think kind of let's say that Edge had done a big bump. I still think sacrificing that in the short term to make sure that you plant that seed in people's head in the long term is actually going to produce a better show, or at least a more engaging and entertaining show. So I hope we get more of that in the future. It doesn't mean that we have to have surprises all the time. You need to balance it. I don't like comparing the two because people get mad. But I think AEW just did a good job of that. Lance Archer just comes out with Jake Roberts. Next week, we've got a big hoopla for who the leader of the Dark Order is going to be. This is good. This is like ping pong. We're playing the right shots in order to balance everything out. Shout out to my man T-Dog, Anthony Taggart on the Super Chat, who says, hand on heart. That's it. That's all he says. Thank you, T-Dog, and thank you for all the support as always. Geeked Out Nation, the super chat says, rank your top 5 favorite AEW wrestlers right now. Top of my head, Kenny Omega, Pac, Hangman Page, Cody, and who do I look forward to seeing every single week? There's so many. Luchasaurus, right? Got to give love to my Luchasaurus. Happy birthday to him as well. 35 billion years old. He's doing well. And Neil T in the super chat says, so, hand on heart for you. So with Baby Canceling Mania, I've often wondered if kayfabe is supposed to exist in a separate universe from ours, the way the MCU, etc. does. It would be great if it did, and WWE actually had a storyline about why WrestleMania was cancelled. In fact, that's 100% what they should do. How awesome was that? Seth Rollins and his crew shut down WrestleMania because they don't impress with the masses. Oh, man, you got to do that, WWE. But I don't think they will, because I get it at the same time. You don't want it to come across like you are taking a very serious matter lightly. So I think it's kind of a difficult thing to walk around. But I know what you mean. I don't even know where kayfabe ends and begins anymore. Like, what's real and what's not real? I don't know. Maybe that's the point. I have no idea. You tell me. Tell me in the comments. What is kayfabe? There you go. What is kayfabe? We'll get into that, and then we'll never get to the bottom of it. Right, let me just make sure that there is not... apparently, on the Wrestling Observer Radio today, it was said that Tony Khan is not pressuring anyone to work next week's show over fear of the virus. Nobody will lose their spot or push if they decide to stay home. There you go. The fact that conversation is even happening. Gronk, I can't pronounce his name. Gronkowski, obviously former... He's a Patriots guy, right? Yeah, Patriots guy... He is signed with WWE. A lot of people got mad about that. Didn't really understand why. Like, good for him is how I see it. People say, oh, he'll take this person's spot and he'll take that person's spot. Okay, that's not for me to worry about. I just think good for him. If WWE thinks he can bring something to the table and if he wants to sign a deal, I'm not going to get mad at someone for signing a contract. I hope he does really well. I hope he smashes it. I hope he doesn't get Mojo Rawley'd. Obviously, they were friends when they had that over-the-top battle, Andre the Giant Battle Royal at WrestleMania 33. 32? I can't remember. So long. So many WrestleManias these days. But that's good to know. I think you have to be that way. I think Tony Khan would have been that way anyway, but it's always nice to hear. How did I miss this? I should have talked about this earlier. British Bulldog going into the Hall of Fame got announced on Corey Graves' Beyond the Bell, or whatever the podcast is called, from a guy that's talked about him a lot on shows such as this, and being from being from the British Isles. Hell yeah. Way overdue. British Bulldog was great. You know, his death, I suppose, is the only way to put it. His passing was tragic and horrible, and he died way too soon. But I think that most British wrestlers would tell you what an inspiration he was, about how far he got before we had the internet, or before we had these ways in, or NXT UK, or a performance center. I know he went to Canada first, but it was still awesome. So, yeah, I'm super happy about that. I don't even know if the Hall of Fame is going to happen at this stage, but yeah, that was one to me where I kind of gave a fist pump. There's some disparaging remarks about the WWE Hall of Fame. You can like it and hate it as much as you so wish, but there are some people that, for me, need to be in there. He is one of them. So hell yeah to British Bulldog. Goffy in the Super Chat just says, AEW are bringing kayfabe back. Yeah, I suppose they are to a certain degree, right? There's certainly elements of that, especially on social media with Being the Elite, which is all over the place. Really good Being the Elite this week as well, and Free the Delete. Is Matt Hardy going to be the exalted one? You have to presume so, but it's not a lock. It's not a lock. You never know. Maybe it's a swerve. As long as he gets in AEW and is allowed to flex his creative muscles, I'll be happy, because after reading a bunch of interviews with him, it sounds like that's what he wants to do, so... yeah, fingers crossed with that. Not in the Known, the Super Chat says, could they do an event with VR headsets? You could, but I just think without the reaction and the noise and the chants, do you even want to watch wrestling like that? Do you not think it would be a bit awkward? I do. I think you just have to delay it at that point. I don't think there's no point. I get doing it with sport. I would just suspend all sport, but that's a different argument. But I don't get doing it with wrestling. With wrestling, I think you've just got to... you just have to just put it on the back burner for now. Because you can do that. Because, again, you're in control of it 100%. Few people in the chat asking about my match with Sami Callihan. That's meant to be going down at Pancakes and Pile Drivers 4 in Ybor, Florida, on the day before WrestleMania, 11 o'clock, Pro Wrestling Revolver. Look, I don't know. I absolutely don't know what's going on. Am I worried it's going to get cancelled? Yes, especially because I'll be out a lot of money. I mean, a lot of money. I won't be able to get that refunded, unfortunately. But that's not what I'd care about. I would care about missing out on the opportunity. But yes, like, I'd be really, really sad. We talked about the ups and downs earlier. That would definitely be a down. And I would be, it would really, really get to me. But you can't... what's worse? Me not being able to have that wrestling match, which again is the biggest wrestling match I've ever had in my life, or losing a loved one to an illness. Right? It's night and day. Sometimes you just have to look at the situation that presents itself and shrug your shoulders and go, well, this is just where we're at, and it's just not me suffering. It's, at this point, thousands, hundreds of thousands of people suffering. I just hope that it gets better sooner. That's the main thing. But look, we've still got a few weeks. We don't know what's going to happen over the next few weeks, so we will wait and see. We'll sit back. We'll have a water. That's all I drink. and we will take it from there. I'm not sure if there's anything else we need to talk about. So any questions, go nuts in the comments. All questions, or not all questions, but as many questions as I can answer, I will answer. Throw them in there. Can be wrestling related, obviously, but we can answer them. Obviously, Scrapomania got cancelled as well, simply because I guess they can't get the guys in. Like, how is John Moxley going to be able to fly in the country now after this travel ban? Like, Sheamus and Drew McIntyre are over here doing press, and Drew McIntyre basically got pulled before he could do all his interviews because they had to get him back to the USA because of this travel ban. So everything is all over the place. It's affecting everything: football, wrestling, rugby, cricket. The E3 got cancelled. I've been to E3 a few times. That's now out of the picture. Coachella got moved to October. It's unprecedented, man. Like, it's a real crazy thing. Hey, Simon, do you think AEW will run some UK shows in the future? Yes, I think they've gone on record and saying that they'll do a couple this year, right? So, yes, I imagine we will see them soon. I think they'll be good. My man, Sean Gearhorn, is super chat. Always good to see you, Sean. Thank you so much. WWE is an episodic TV show. You can't really just cancel the season finale and then continue on. An empty stadium is the only real answer. Sean, it's one of the rare times that I disagree with you, my friend. That's rare. Usually you're on the same page. I think you can do that because you are an episodic TV show and you can just rewrite the script and go another way. I don't really feel like WrestleMania serves as a season finale anymore. And I think the only people it sucks for massively is the fans who have put all this money into, traveling there. I'm one of them, right? I'll be out of pocket too. But no, I think in terms of the storyline, I would delay it. But just my opinion. Doesn't mean I'm right. Shout out to What Culture Wrestling as well, who say, well done, Simon, in the chat. Aren't they lovely people? Make sure you go and subscribe to What Culture Wrestling right now as well. And then in 19 minutes, you can come and watch my Up Those Downs for AEW Dynamite. You see? It's a symbiotic relationship. We're just going to hang out on YouTube all day, and we're going to forget about the crazy world. So, hand on the heart for What Culture. How often do you change shirts throughout the day when taping all your shows? I don't change my shirt. I wear the same shirt all day long. And then people go, why are you wearing the same shirt? Well, it's just, come on now. And also, you don't know when those videos are going to go up. It's rare that all my videos go up in one day. So, I don't change my clothes. I think that's a bit much, just personally. Simon, did you see Abandon on AEW Dark? That chick looks crazy. She does. Good look. Good personality, good gimmick, different, actually terrifying. Yeah, I was a big fan of that. Simon, do you think AEW is swerving us with Matt Hardy and Brody Lee could be the exalted one? I don't know, but if I had to guess, I think because next week's AEW show is in Brody Lee's hometown or home state, and I think they want you to think that Brody Lee is going to be the exalted one, but it will be Matt Hardy. But on the flip side to that, it could go the other way too, and that's why I like it, you see? Just planting the seeds. I've said this for years on Ups and Downs. I like seed planting. I like when those plants grow, and I can look at it and go, I understand how this has become to be. That's all I need from my life. Where am I looking? Oh, my phone is ringing. Oh, that's fine. It didn't make any noise. Simon, do you think... I've done that one. What's with AEW lack of promos, especially with debuting talent? We had promos last night. We had a Britt Baker promo. We had a John Moxley promo. We had a Hangman Page promo at the start. We had a Dustin Rhodes promo. I think there's loads of promos. I think it's fine. Not everybody can get a promo. It's only a 2-hour show. I do think that some of the promos they put out on social media, I would put on the television show just because I think they're really good. But hey, social media is an important tool too. So either way. I think British Bulldog should have been the world champion. I would agree with you. I would have made him champion. I would have made Ted DiBiase champion. I would have made Matt Hardy champion, genuinely. Who else is on my should have been champion list? Christian got it, but I never thought he got it properly, so I'd put him on there, even though that makes no sense. And there'll be loads of others I'm forgetting as I stare off into the distance, but I still think that is a good shout. Do you think Paige will introduce Nia Jax at SmackDown? There is this rumors that it's going to be Bayley versus Nia Jax at SmackDown, but that means you're going to bring Nia Jax back in as a face, and then she's getting like to Big Show levels of turns. Then, yeah. I like Nia Jax too. I think she gets a bad rep. I like that kind of monster persona. Maybe. Do I like the idea of Paige with Nia Jax? I don't know if that works. Is that a good fit? I don't have to see it, I guess. I'm just speculating. I don't know. I can't like Nia Jax by herself, the lone monster. Although you could make it like a Brock Lesnar, Paul Heyman deal. Does she come back? I guess so, maybe. Unless she's got nothing to do with Mania. If she's not on WrestleMania, I'd hold her off. She doesn't need. She can be the person that attacks. Let's say Bayley retains or Sasha Banks wins or something. She can then be the person that attacks and you can build straight into that program. Mr. Perfect should have been champ. Kaboom, agreed. Same with Roddy Piper. Kaboom, agreed. Would you give Drew the title if WrestleMania is cancelled? No, you just hold off your plans. You just literally have to hold everything off. And the thing is, I don't think there's going to be a massive backlash to it because we all understand. And if you did get annoyed about it, you should be annoyed about your money. That's different. Money, that's just awful and terrible. But in terms of having to move it, you just have to shrug your shoulders and go, we're all in the same belt. And it sucks. Of course it sucks. Scott Hall should have been world champion, somebody says. Was he world champion in WCW? He wasn't, was he? I mean, I guess it was his personal stuff that got in the way. I think I'd agree with that, yeah. I think if Razor Ramon had hung around as well, he definitely would have been world champion material. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think that's a good shout. Simon, who will be the first superstar to switch from AEW to WWE? That's a great... I don't know. I wouldn't have an answer for that. At this stage, I would say nobody. They all seem so happy. It would have to be somebody that has somewhat of a... who feels like they could do better across the pond. I don't have a name. Right now, I don't have a name. It would be just pulling someone out of nowhere, which would be ridiculous. Good question, though. Good question. Let's just double check that nothing crazy has gone on in this. I do this ever since the Eric Bischoff and Paul Heyman news got announced, and I didn't check news. I always kind of overcheck now, which is kind of ridiculous. But I don't think anything has gone down. Certainly no more news about WrestleMania. That would be everywhere. In fact, I should check. Is it going to come up? No, it's not going to come up. I can't check. You would have told me by now. You would know before me. Right, okay. I'll open the door for a few more questions before we wrap up. Again, though, if you can hit the subscribe button right now if you haven't already, and the notifications bell. So many people don't turn that on. This is why sometimes my videos die. So yes, if you could subscribe, turn on notifications, and hit the bell and all that, I'd massively appreciate it. It's all down there. Please like the video. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Simon316. I have a Patreon, link in the description below, patreon.com/Simon316, and that's how I'm able to do all of my personal stuff. And one of the tiers is you can come on the podcast and get a t-shirt, a postcard, a video message, whatever the hell you want. I'm trying to give something back. And of course, shout out to everybody that super chatted today. Like I say, all the money I make from super chats I put back into my own content to try and make it grow and try and get it bigger. So that's how we do it. Somebody's saying they think it's going to be Saudi Mania. Well, who knows? I would say no, but I've been wrong before. My man Sean says, WWE has issues with prolonged storylines now. I can just imagine if they got to stretch out these cover ones for an additional month or so. Well, that's a good point. I do agree with you there. We do kind of need to pull the trigger on all these things in a few weeks. But it's, again, we've never been... This is kind of like what happened in World War II, really. And I'm going to hazard a guess that none of us were there when that happened. So you kind of just have to go on what the officials and the experts think. We all like to roll our eyes, but they are out there with our best interests, even if they're not getting it right all of the time. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go with them. And just like everybody else, I'm absolutely drawn to what's going on because, again, it's just a crazy situation. Are you enjoying the Ruthless Aggression series on the network? Yes, but some of the things they say crack me up, like why WWE changed its name. But hey, if you're in control, you can write your own history. Nothing wrong with that. Do you think Reigns will beat Goldberg in 5 minutes? Yes, I think he should do too. I think Reigns, I love Goldberg. He's one of my favorites. But I think if you want to get the most out of this match, especially moving past WrestleMania, whenever that will be, Roman should just kill him. Just take him down. Make him a strong champ. Make him a solid champ. Don't know how the fans will react to that. But serve up the Romans, everybody says they want the old dudes to start putting over the young dudes. Well, that's the way to do it. That is 100% the way to do it. Simon, would you be open to changing your name of AEW if AEW selects you to join Spears? Yes, I would. If they said I have to change my name, I absolutely would change my name. I wouldn't have a problem. I wouldn't have a problem with this at all. Do you think AEW is becoming a credible threat to WWE? I think it already is. Again, you see... certain wrestlers not going to WWE because of that. You see the financial situation improving for wrestlers because of AEW. I think having a good, successful company alongside AEW is great. But as I've said time and time again, I want them all to do well. I want all wrestlers to do really well and earn loads of money. That's what I want. And that's what I want for everybody in the world too, apart from people that are assholes. And that's it. I'm not answering that question about the virus because that's ridiculous and mean. Which superstar is the most devastating? Spear, Goldberg. Goldberg will always be my favorite. Go watch him spear Nunzio. You'll find it. Goldberg spears Nunzio. Flip my life. Absolutely incredible. I hope to have an ups and downs sign at the AEW Boston show, and I promise you'll blow my mind. I never get over that. Again, it's much like one of these situations where you kind of, your eyes roll back in your head and you're like, I don't understand how I've got here, but I'm very happy. I'm very happy to be here. What match of Mania do you think will steal the show? It's a good question. What match of Mania do I think steal the show? Seth Rollins versus Kevin Owens, I think, could be underrated going in and could surprise some people. I think Edge and Randy Orton will go out. I think Brock and Drew McIntyre will both be incredibly motivated. Yeah, they're my ones. They're my picks. And I think AJ Styles versus The Undertaker could be better than people give it credit for. Unless it's smoke and mirrors, which is also fine. But I think there may be a good idea there. Does Bray beat John Cena? I sure as hell hope so. Because if not, I don't see the point of doing that match if John Cena's going away. So I'm going to say yes. Do you think Vince McMahon watches AEW? No, but I imagine Triple H and other people do, which is smart. You should do. You should monitor your competition. What's your favorite plant in pro wrestling? The mystery reveal plant. That's the best one by a mile. Hey, Simon, will you buy the first AEW video game? Of course I would, especially if it's based on the Aki engine. I'm an old man. I remember the Aki engine. It makes me super happy. Simon Miller is the exalted one. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm not. Only one way to find out. Watch AEW Wrestling. That was a cheap plug. I didn't mean that the way it sounded. I retract that. Do you still hold a wrestling title? Yes, I'm still the H champion. I've lost all my other championship belts that I've won recently. That kind of sucks. But it just means I got to aim to get them back. Like Charlotte Flair. What chance is there for SummerSlam at Wembley next year? I would say a big fat 0. They don't see interesting in doing it, which is fine. Again, their company, allowed to do whatever they want. Simon, I am 34 and started watching WCW in 1996. Do you agree AEW and WWE don't cross over all that much? No. I still think there are similarities, opening show promos and what have you, but I do think they have their own unique feel, and that's all I need. When I watch AEW, it doesn't feel like WWE and vice versa. The template probably could still be shaken up a little bit more, but don't do things for the sake of it. Do things because they make sense. Do you think the NXT UK has destroyed the UK wrestling scene? No. No, I don't. I know lots of people that are super happy working for NXT UK too, so... is Hangman going to play the role of Sting in the Blood and Guts match? He's going to come in and crush everyone and leave like War Games 96 against the NWO. Potentially, you do see a lot of reusing of old storylines, and I'm fine with that. I'm absolutely fine with that. Simon, I just love your stuff. Thank you very much. Going to be AEW next week. Look for your sign from front left side of the entry ramp. I will. Thank you so much. Who do you think is the best women's wrestler in the world today? Oscar or Kairi Sane, I would say. But my knowledge of Joshi wrestling is bad. So I'm not the best to speak on that. But from what I know, yes, it'd be one of those two. But that's very, what's the word I'm looking for? Uneducated answer. I need to educate myself better on that. We have now seen Sammy as a face and a heel in the WWE. Is he better as a heel or face in your opinion? Face. I love him as a heel, but he was such a good underdog from the underground. You just wanted him to win, and that's kind of rare in WWE these days. They have enough heels. So yeah, I preferred the face. Also, hilariously, that Braun Strowman thing this week, wash these hands. We're living in a great world. We're living in a great time. Things aside, that made me laugh for about a year. And I will always always be happy. Do you think WWE will get better if Triple H gets to Vince McMahon's position? Who knows? I have absolutely no idea. I think SmackDown is still finding its feet. I think Raw is a much better show. Not that spider thing, which apparently in an interview recently, Sheamus also said was shite, which was excellent. I think Eric Rowan deserved better than that, and we the fans deserve better than that. But I do think Raw is a better shout. Who do you think is the best male wrestler in the world? For me, it's Will Ospreay. I think I'd probably give it to... Depends how you define wrestling. I think I'd either give it to Kenny Omega or Cody right now. Kenny Omega because I'm amazed at the stuff he can do in the ring, but Cody because I think he's the best storyteller. That's why I put Okada in there as well, and Tanahashi. They tell me stories that I really, really enjoy. But I like Kevin Owens too. The way Kevin Owens carries himself, I just enjoy his matches. I like how... sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think. I just like Kevin Owens. We'll just leave it in there. How and when would you break up the Inner Circle? Not for a while, a good year. You want to cement them, but you just have Sammy Guevara or something gets a bit too big for his boots, starts banging head with Jericho's. Proud and the Powerful think that, they're not being given the right opportunities. Jake Hagar goes off by himself because he's a moody poo. There's loads of things you can do, but not yet. Not yet. No way. They're probably peaking again right now, so that we shouldn't even be thinking about it. Do you think Undertaker versus AJ is going to be disappointing, or do you think AJ can carry him through the match? I think it's going to be good, because I like to be positive and look at the positive stuff on life. Do you agree with AJ Styles as wrestler of the decade? Yes, I think AJ is awesome. Are the ups and downs characters going to be used in promos like Foley? Well, you just never know. We never know what the future holds. And I will do one more, especially because my battery on my laptop is about to die. Which indie wrestler would you like to see in WWE, AEW? Jeff Cobb. I know he popped up the other day, but I certainly would like to see somebody sign him up proper. And outside of that... Who's someone that's really good that I enjoy? I can't think now off the top of my head. There's the problem with questions like this. Your brain goes blank. So we'll just go with Jeff Cobb, which is a rubbish answer. And on that note, I want to thank you all again in relation to the title. You made that all far more fun than it would have been otherwise. And you can call me whatever you want. You can call me a loser, you can call me a geek, you can call me a nerd. I got a real kick out of it. It was really, really fun. And here's to whatever is next. Please do subscribe. Please do like the video. Please do give me a comment below too. Give me SimonMiller316 on Instagram and Twitter. Come and follow me on there. Patreon.com/SimonMiller316. Again, this is an audio version of this podcast. You can listen to loads of content. Search for it on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, everything. No matter where a podcast app you can find it, just search for Simon Miller's Pro Wrestling Show. And make sure you head over to What Culture Wrestling right now. Give them a subscribe and come join me live as we do those ups and downs for AEW Dynamite. Thank you again. From the bottom of my heart, you're all good, lovely, lovely people. And I will chat to you when I chat to you. Also, twitch.tv/Simon316. There's going to be loads of streams over there too. I've got to build my notoriety up on there, so I need your support again. See ya.